All right, here we go. Welcome to John's Dungeon Corner Adventures. Here we are again at the Collective in Altamont Springs, Florida, live on John's Dungeon Corner, where all things D&D, Dungeons and Dragons, come to life and are talked about, and we have fun with, because that's what we do. All right, so a couple things. Let's see what to talk about first. Oh, you know what? Let's talk about this book right here. The Keys from the Golden Vault. Now, I think I mentioned this to you, but I don't think they were in yet. But here they are. The Keys from the Golden Vault in its normal book. And then, of course, the special cover. Keys from the Golden Vault. It's got that nice touch to it, that nice feely. But there it is, the Golden Vault. On the back, all the keys. It's very nice. Very, very cool. See, there it is. I like it a lot. Oh, look at me knocking things down, right? Oh, I tend to do that every once in a while. Okay, and then I stand it back up because that's how we roll. Okay, so this Keys from the Golden Vault. It's a supplement, an anthology, actually. And it's got a theme. It's based on heist. You know, going in and stealing things. Happy Friday, Sarah. Welcome to the show. But yes, this is it, the Keys from the Golden Vault. It's got 13 short standalone Dungeons and Dragons adventures for characters 1 through 11. So this is really neat if you kind of want to take a little break from your campaign. You want to kind of put a little interlude in there, something on the side, and pow, you pull these out. I like this because they're short. They really are. Some of the other campaigns might be a little longer, but these are really a lot of fun. They're one-shots. And you know what? If you have, hey, welcome to the show, Antonio. So this is it. In fact, Antonio has this. He has a special edition. Very nice, very nice. And you can put them together or put them into a campaign. Or like I said, you could just make them one-shots. Oh, yeah. Looky.
It's a new dragon.
Now, see? Brendan, say hi, Brendan.
Hello.
Everybody,
Brendan.
This is the Gold Dragon?
Topaz.
Oh, the Topaz. Oh, my bad. Topaz Dragon. Look at how gorgeous this looks. Put it up to the camera so they can see it really close.
He's like a pixie and a sprite because he has the little sea.
Oh, isn't that nice?
Look at that. Isn't he cool?
That's one of the gem dragons, the Topaz Dragon.
This is kind of cool. But
so we've had the amethyst. We've had the sapphire.
Yeah. It doesn't have a window box.
It doesn't have a window box?
It doesn't. So you got to find a store that's going to open it up and take it out of the box.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Fortunately, you're at the Collective.
Yes, you are at the Collective. Let's go. I'm going to put him right there. Front and center. Front and center. Yes. Donna, how are you? Welcome to the show. Look at the new Topaz Dragon on display because Brendan opened one up. They do not come in a window display box. I don't know why. That's a gorgeous looking dragon. Look at that. Woo. I like it. You know what that means? I like it, right? Oh, man. When do I not like? That's my thing, right? When do I not like? All right. So it does look good. We are on a heist. Antonio's actually on a heist. Look at that. All right. So let's talk about a couple things. So, okay. So I tried to find Fiona. Brendan's going to help me with that. Brendan?
Fiona? Probably not next week, but hopefully the week after.
Okay. So maybe a couple weeks. I talked to you guys about
She's just still recovering, so she'll be back in.
Gotcha.
She plan on being here Wednesday night, though. We have a paint day coming.
Now, Wednesday night, tomorrow there's actually a tour. Oh, talking about paint, because I'm going to leap into that anyway. I'm going to get into some of the more generic stuff. I don't want to get into the nitty-gritty because I really want her to do that. She, like I told you guys, she is an amazing painter. She paints. Hey, there goes Danny, the producer of the show. That's right. Every once in a while, you see him pop in like this.
To be fair, you produced it this time.
That's okay. We worked together. It's
we were janitorial today.
Oh, okay. That's okay. We still need the chief custodian.
Yeah.
All right. But anyway, so she does really good work. And I wanted her to really get into the nitty gritty because she actually takes the time. She actually teaches how to. I paint. I can show you really quick, simple, but no, I'm going to let her do it because she can do the speed painting. She can do the really nice terrain, the basing, all that stuff. And yes, I do it, but I always defer to the experts and things like that. You know, that's the fun part. And I get to bring a guest on board for the day. I mean, that's just awesomeness, right? So let's talk about tomorrow. Here at the Collective, Terrain and Basing, she will be here doing a class. It's going to be awesome. And then next Wednesday, right? Next Wednesday, she will also be here. So if you want to come by the Collective and see it live, she will sit down with you. Amazing, just the way she teaches. Very simple, and the product, the end product is gorgeous, right? And you do it yourself, so that's awesome. Okay, so there's that. I wanted to talk about that. At the end of the month, the 31st, you can now go online to the Riverwalk Theater. There's a QR code there. You can pre-purchase. I guess you can pre-purchase your tickets for Dungeons and Dragons. Remember, I will be there on the 31st at the 6 o'clock and 8 o'clock show. Thanks to the sponsorship of the Collective and Riverwalk Theater, I'll be doing a one-shot at 6 and at 8. Yes, you can come play Dungeons and Dragons with me right at the theater, and then go watch the movie, or watch the movie and then come play D&D. Either way, it's all good. So, with that out of the way,
These little things.
oh, look at this. What is this?
Those are acrylic.
Oh, they had some of these. Yes, these are okay. So check this out. This is a really nice way of getting miniatures, quite a few miniatures actually, on the table without having to, kind of go here and there and try to find them. These are the 2D acrylic miniatures. We had talked about these. These are reptiles. So you got some lizard men, you got some reptiles. Okay, so it looks really cool. You've got 10, and so you've got. Here I go doing this squinting thing again when I can just put my glasses on like I had them on, right? I leave them behind. I got to go squint. No more squinting. Here we go. I can see what I'm not looking at. All right, so we got 2 ambush drakes, a basilisk. Oh, boy, you don't want to run into that in the dark. A crocodile, 2 lizard folk, another lizard folk, a lizard folk fighter, lizard folk queen, lizard folk shaman, a Tyrannosaurus Rex, and 5 velociraptors. So look at that bad mamma jamma, huh? Whew. Anyway, so you got nice stuff here. Just came in, hot off the press. All right, so we're just going to put him. We're going to put him right here in front of the keys. All right, now we're not going to put him in front of the keys. We're going to move him. You know what? I'm going to find him his own little stand. Put him on there. Kapow! To squint or not to squint? Yeah. Ha. Every once in a while, I become a squinter. I'm going to put him right here. We're going to move this over like that. We put things out as they come out. Look at that. Cool. So for those of you who want to run like this stuff with reptiles and lizard men, that just came out. Inexpensive way of getting into miniatures. Look at that. And since when we talk about painting miniatures, that those come pre-painted. They're really neat. They stand on a little stand. And hey, it is an awesome way to collect miniatures without having to paint them or trying to get them in boxes or go online and try to find them. You know what I'm saying? It comes as a set. Like I said, there's quite a few in there, and you can run a nice little adventure with that. All right. Okay, let's get to the meat of drinking things, right? We were talking about painting miniatures. But before we get into that, so many things. A couple of questions that were asked, and I got to answer them. I cannot not answer them. Which kind of brought me to the keys. Somebody was talking about side adventures because sometimes they don't have time to prepare. Sometimes campaigns take a little bit of work. They really do, okay? If you've ever game master, dungeon master, or just ran a game and you're trying to put together a lot of adventures together, it takes time. And sometimes when something ends, life happens, okay? Life gets in the way, and you got to grab something quick. And there's nothing wrong with that, all right? You can link it with things like the keys from the Golden Vault. That's really why I brought that. I mean, yes, I promise to show up, but it kind of serves a dual purpose sometimes. You can bring that out and link it. And along those lines, somebody was talking to me about in campaigns, the homebrew. And Antonio was funny because we were talking this morning on his way to work and about homebrew. Here's what I will say about homebrew. All right. And we talked about homebrew campaigns earlier. Actually, we've talked about it several times, but homebrew is an awesome concept. You make it up. It's something that you make up, whether it's a monster, a creature, a land. That my land is basically a homebrew. I created the Eldritch Kingdoms, but more impactful upon players and DMs is the races, the classes, feats. Anything that is not in the books is basically considered homebrew. If you take something and you elaborate on it, it's a homebrew now. Okay. And here's what I will say to DMs. I'm going to address the DMs first. Make sure that your players are comfortable with the rules and with the mechanics of the game. That they've at least played a little bit and have an understanding before we start giving them homebrews. Because remember, homebrews sometimes are a lot different than what's in the book or what's allowed in the game. Nothing wrong with it, all right? But make sure that the beginning players at least understand the mechanics, how the game works, and how normal classes and how normal races behave before you start throwing in all this homebrew stuff. That's what I will say to that, all right? And you can use it, not use it. It's just a piece of advice. Players, because this is really designed, I mean, it's for everyone. A lot of the people who watch this have been playing for years, but a lot of people who look at it afterwards may have only been playing for a little while or getting back into the game, into 5e, which has changed from the 3.5 days. When you go into the homebrew, I say this. The mechanics are going to be the same for the most part. And when I say mechanics, I mean the rolling of the dice, the initiative, the attack, the skill checks, and that kind of thing. What changes is in what you roll for. There may be different feats. There may be different classes that give you certain things that kind of combine classes sometimes. It's very different than the normal game. All right. Hey, welcome to the show, Willie. I'm glad you're on. We haven't missed a lot, except for the dragon. The dragon looks cool. It's Topaz Dragon. And the golden key. Anyway. But so with that, understand that when the word homebrew comes into play, it is not standard Dungeons and Dragons 5e. All right, it's something that someone's made up or elaborated on and done something different with. So if you sit down at that game and then you come to a normal, not I don't want to say normal, but a standard game, you're going to go, oh, well, I want to play this X character. And everybody's looking at you like, well, it's not a part of the basic 5e book or not the basic foundation. I'm not even sure how you would call it, the standard. We'll call it standard 5e. And you go, oh, okay, well, I was playing it. Well, all right, well, unfortunately, that's not being done here. And that's kind of like what I like to avoid with the homebrew games. Core. Thank you, Sarah. That's a great word, core. Thank you so much. So the core 5e system. All right. And you can like I said, I just want to give that heads up that be careful that you start in a homebrew game. And then when you come, you're like, well, why isn't that here? Well, why doesn't that race exist? Well, my DM. Okay. Remember, when you sit down at a table, you got to respect the DM and the choices that the DM makes. And one of the biggest choices they make is what world their game is set in and how it's run and what's available and not available. Okay. We talked about that earlier, so I'm not going to go over, but as a player, always respect the DM because they're the ones taking all the time to create this. It's a lot of work. All right. I'm both a player and a game master. And let me tell you what, being a player is easy. You put your character together, you put it in a bag, you grab the player's handbook, your dice, and off you go. With the game master, depending on how elaborate the game is, there's miniatures involved, there's map boards, there's terrain, there's all the creatures and all the work that goes into that. All right. So respect that. That's important. And that's what I'm going to say about the homebrew games as opposed to the core game. All right. That's what I'm going to say. I'm going to leave it at that. Now to get into the painting. Whew. Let me tell you, we could talk for hours on end about painting, but I'm going to kind of throw some things out there at you really quick. The collective has a nice, well-rounded collection of starter paint sets. And I don't even have them all out here, okay? I mean, there's monster sets that are still out there. I'm going to bring 5 that I think are really cool that I own some of these. Talk about war games. Army Painter, War Gamers, complete paint set. If you want something that's like all-inclusive, my gosh, this is a nice one. Has 124 war paints. It has 5 free brushes in it. Okay, look at that. It's got metallics in it. It's got base colors. It's got the washes. It's got the tones in it. It's an unbelievable paint set. So if you got armies to paint, lots of miniatures to paint, or you just want to be one and done, then look at that. and you got the 100% match to primer. So look at that. It's amazing. And you get 5 free brushes, and that in and of itself could easily run you $30, $40. So that's an amazing paint set. It's probably one of the best complete paint sets I've seen on the market that won't cost you an arm and a leg. Maybe an arm or a leg, but not an arm and a leg. Anyway, no, but it's well worth it.
It's less than a house payment.
Yes, it's less than a house payment or car payment. So we're good. So here we go. This, and I talked about this, the speed paints, right? This is the speed paint starter set. Great stuff. Fiona's done it, used it. I've used it. I'm happy with it. It comes with 10 different colors. It's a base 10. Really nice set. You know, it's the one coat and done. And I'll tell you, if you buy the pre-primered miniatures and then use this, you can be done in like under half an hour. It's actually, or even less. I mean, it depends on how. I like to take a little bit of time, but what you see this guy doing on that on the advertising, where he's just kind of painting it, gives you, it sinks into recesses, gives you the highlights and the shadows. It works just like that. Really good. I've used it. In fact, I used it on a miniature. I painted for one of my players really quick, and anybody who saw me painting it, I did it in stages. I did this, and done. That was it. All right, and then Game Master, which is Army Painter, has this for this is a character starter set, and it actually comes with 5 free miniatures. So you got 5 free miniatures in this one. Okay, there we go. All right, and it has quite a few number of paints. This is great if all you want to do. I mean, you can paint monsters, but it's a character paint set. Really nice. I like it. This is a really nice paint set here also. This one has 20 paint sets, a starter brush, and 5 miniatures. And that's what the miniatures would end up looking like after you paint it. Looks really nice. Very nice. And remember, something, well, let me finish here. Now, this is the D&D Nolzur's Marvelous Pigments. This is a monster paint set. Okay, it has 36 war paints in it. Okay, there we go. 36 of them. They're by Army Painter, of course. And they're for monsters. There's 36. But here's the wonderful thing, and this is what I was going to say is miniatures for monsters, for terrain, except for specific ones. For characters, general paint sets, they're all designed to paint miniatures. Doesn't matter if it's a monster. It doesn't matter if it's a character, a piece of terrain, a building. The colors are all there, and you can use them for whatever, all right? And then this set, this is one of the newer sets into it, although Vallejo has been around for a while. But this is a nice little starter paint set, basic starter. It has, how many does it have in it? I'm sure it's written somewhere that I could read it if I had my glasses on, right? To squint or not to squint? Not! All right, let's see. Let's look at the back. It looks like it's got, let's see, 4. So it has 40 different paints in it. It's got washes in it. 1, 2, 3. It has 7 washes in it. A bunch of colors in it. I don't see any. Oh, there's gunmetal. So there's probably a couple of metals in there, but they look really nice. These are from Vallejo. He's an amazing artist. And I actually had the pleasure of meeting him at GolfCon in North Carolina once. And so that's what that looks like. It comes in a nice little carrying case. Really nice. They also have an intermediate. They have an intermediate paint set in a case just like that one. Really nice. Okay, so there you go. Those are paint sets. Now, you know, and there's a bunch of other, I can't even bring them in. You know, if you're at the Games Workshop, those are Games Workshop paints out there. And the question I know I get a lot is, hey, so which paint is better than the other? You know what? I don't even worry about that. They're all good quality paints. They all have their pros and their cons. The pigmentation might be different just a little bit between them. And I'm not going to get into all that. You can go out online and find all that out about pigmentation and saturated and this and that and the other. But the most amazing part about it is they're all paints. All right. They all work great. The speed set paint came out to make it a one shot. So basically you miniatures primed, you go over top of it, bam, it shadows, it highlights, beautiful, right? Used it many a time. Now airbrush, oh boy, I'm not even going to get into that. Fiona does airbrushing. It turns out beautiful in Vallejo. And I think Army Painter has a beautiful set, a massive amount of colors, so that you can airbrush with also. That's quick and easy once you learn to use the airbrush. And it's not, Sarah says, also, it all depends on the material you're painting, and it is always okay to start over. We have all spent time painting a figure just to start. Yes, I've painted whole armies and decided I'm going to dip it and start all over, which is why I stopped painting armies. Now I just paint a miniature here and there because, whoa, that doesn't look right. Let me start, because you can't really paint, 100 figurine. Well, you can if you have all day to do it. But if you're doing it in stages, for some reason, one day my miniatures will look better than another day, at least in my head. And that means I got to start over again. So don't do it. Don't do it, man. Just paint and don't worry about it. One gentleman once told me, and I repeat this to everybody, paints, and more paints. Oh my. Hey, Jason, welcome to the show. No, but the gentleman told me he's an amazing painter. He's got his own show on YouTube where he does all kinds of marvelous things. And he told me, look, it's not like you're going to sit there and inspect these miniatures and see all the little, paint them to tabletop quality, and there you go. Have fun playing whatever it is you're painting. Okay? So paint the miniatures, have fun with them, and there you go. That's what it's about. Unless, of course, you're trying to win the Demon Award at Gen Con or wherever, and that's a totally different world of painting. And Fiona can help you out with that. Me, I'll get you to where you can paint them and put them on the table and have fun. I agree 110%. So that's that. Now, the last thing I want to talk about for players, somebody asked me about accessories. Oh my gosh, we can go on about accessories too forever because there's so much out there. But here's what I'll say. Once you start accumulating dice, more than a couple sets, get yourself a nice dice bag. Now, I have my dragon leather one here that you guys have seen many a time. I have like 4 to 500 dice in there. Okay. I didn't always have a big bag. There's all kinds of different dice bags and dice trays I've shown you that you can hold your dice in. I think that's something to keep your character in is important. And as I was telling my players, I think the folio is awesome for new player and advanced player. Something that we talked about is it's all personal preference. All right. Just like character sheets, color dice. Good grief. And we can go on and on and on. The miniature that we use, do we want a pre-painted miniature? Do we want to paint it ourselves? Do we care if it's even painted? Do we want to get a custom painted one? Do we want to have somebody have it painted for us? Do we want to have it made a custom built miniature and custom painted? So go on and so forth. Something I've shown you guys before about, since we're talking about miniatures, is the miniatures that you can buy and you can piece them together. These are really neat. They're an individual miniature, but they come with different heads and different weapon sets, all different kinds of classes and races. Those are really neat because you can personalize them without having to go the extra mile of. Now you have to paint it yourself. They're not pre-painted. So there's a balancing act going on there, right? So that there is that. And that's a really neat ability to have, to kind of custom make it, primer, paint yourself. Or you can even have somebody else paint. There's lots of people that'll paint it for you. Now, I only do that every blue moon, so not it. But there are professional painters out there that make a good living doing it, and they're affordable, they're decent. We have quite a few here, and there you go. Help them out. Get a miniature painted. Talking about miniatures, listen, there's a wall over here that's only going to get bigger once the collector expands next door. There's just not enough room space. Look, they do a great job of carrying a lot of miniatures. What I mean a lot, I'm talking about pre-painted. The pre-painted ones alone, you're in like the 40 to 60 range as far as choices. And that's big. I think that's just about every pre-painted miniature when they're available. Now, the ones that come already pre-primed, quite a few. A good, I'd say 30 feet maybe, 30, 35 feet of nothing but miniatures to choose from. About 6 feet, 30 feet long, so you can just figure out how many miniatures that'll fit. I'm not trying to. I'm not going to. I just say there's a lot of them to come out here and choose from. Once it expands, I've been told that it's going to get bigger because there's a whole lot of more miniatures coming. And then it's going to be, it's just going to be so much fun. You'll sit there for hours just trying to choose a miniature, which is half the fun, right? I love it. But there's a lot of pre-painted miniatures. Okay, that you can get also monsters, creatures, furniture, accessories, which is really neat. There you go. Look, there goes Donna. She's been up. Oh, look at that. We have jumped into a whole nother spectrum on John's Dungeon Corner. Donna says, I will paint your minis, just pay me in store credit. Look at that. You can't beat that. We've taken on a whole new dimension on the show. Hey, that's your one and only free advertisement. Okay? So, oh my gosh. Here we go. We're going to start an advertising area. No, I'm not. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But no, Donna, there you go. See? As I was saying, since I brought it up, it's only fair she jumped in there and voiced her. All right. So, with that being said, you guys kill me. This show, it just goes, who knows what direction it's going to go in at any given point. Hey, we're still looking for a dice sponsor. That's why I have my own dice. Dice manufacturers, if you want, let's go. Let's get some sponsorship going, and I'll highlight you and make you the dice sponsor for John's Dungeon Corner. We're getting up there in views too. That's right. What you see here is only a smattering of the number of people who sit there and actually watch the show. So, but now I have my dice, and since I buy them here all at the Collective, I don't feel bad putting them out there. Yes, there's some from way back when, but like I have, this die is actually part of the collector's set that came out a while back that had a full set of polyhydrin. They were all in different colors like brown and purple, blue, yellow. But I collect dice. Can you tell? No. Well, you should be able to tell. And I just keep getting them more and more, and they just keep prolificating. Just, one day there's 500, and the next day there's 535. I don't know. It's crazy. But here's a nice bag of dice. See here? Dice. You can never have enough dice. But anyway, with all that being said, hey, don't forget we got the Topaz Dragon. It's actually, I think, the third or fourth in the Gemstone collection of dragons. There was the Amethyst, the Sapphire, the Emerald came out. I believe, was there a Ruby? No, I don't think there was a Ruby, and here's the Topaz one. Beautiful. They're all gorgeous. I love the see-through wings. I mean, you got to see it really in person. The camera really does not do it justice. It is gorgeous. That's a good-looking dragon there. The paint sets, I'm going to try to get Fiona to come out. I'm going to talk to her and see if she'll come out probably not this next Friday, I was told, but the following Friday. And she can come out and we'll sit down and we'll have an actual paint session on the show. And she can kind of talk to you about how to go about basing them and painting them, primering, all the good tips and all the inside trade secrets. Well, maybe not all of them, but enough of them. And if you ever want to watch her, she'll be here tomorrow doing terrain and basing that. And she will be here next Wednesday to do painting on miniature painting. So that's really good stuff. All right. I think that's about it for today. Kind of covered what I wanted to cover. Oh, and by the way, there's a lot more of these 2D acrylic miniatures. There's actually player character ones here and goblins, I think. Orcs. So there's like 3 or 4 different sets of them. Maybe more than that. Those are just ones to remember off the top of my head. So much to remember. It's a lot. So anyway, I think that's it. Yes, Fiona is awesome. Donna, she is. She does great work. In fact, some of her miniatures are in raffles for a good cause. You can buy a ticket for $1. You put it in there at the beginning. I think it's the first Saturday of each month when she's here to paint. They do a raffle, and yeah. Well, thank you, brother. Appreciate it. So thank you all for coming out and watching the show. And as always, may the road always rise up to meet your feet, and may all your adventures be successful. This is John from John's Dungeon Corner at the Collective in Altamont Springs, Florida. Wishing you a wonderful weekend, and I will see you next Friday right here. Same Dungeon Corner, same Dungeon channel, same dungeon. Take care.